Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 10 things that will change America by the 2028 election. And yeah, this is looking very far into the future as we are halfway through 2023. Time goes quick, man. It was literally just yesterday we just got into 2023. Flipping hell. But I can see this has got quite a lot of dislikes, so I guess it's a bit political for some people. I don't care. I'm just going to react to this and see what's gonna possibly change. If you're not into this sort of stuff, don't watch this reaction. I don't want you to be pissed off because I know some people are quite touchy on either sides. But yeah, I'm gonna react to this and see the things that could change. Again, this isn't a long time. Like, this is looking very far ahead. So I'm kind of confused why it's looking so far, because isn't the election like it's somewhat soon? You're still seeing things about it now. Isn't it like next year? I'm not sure, but I think it's next year, so I'm kind of confused why it's looking so far ahead, but maybe it's to sort of see what will change beforehand, or before it actually happens. But yeah, we're going to jump into this. Links are in the description to my Patreon if you want to see some more of my reactions, but let's check this out and see some of the things that will change.
The United States is changing. These days, the changes that are happening are on a level of change we haven't seen since like post-war America and probably the early days of the dot-com era. Back in the day, we had to sort of wait until after the time or era had happened to realize how big of a deal it actually was. These days, with media like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Threads, we see our world changing in real time. When you do research for a living like I do, you start to see things happening and you notice trends. As the trends evolve, you start to have opinions and predictions on where they'll be in the future. Like this mechanic one time. This is a perfect example. A mechanic one time in the late 80s or early 90s was talking about cruise control, and he said cruise control's just the beginning. By the time you're my age, cars will drive themselves, and here we are. He worked on cars every day, and he could see where things were going. He noticed the trends, and he had his opinions, and in this case, he was very accurate. In today's video, I'm giving you my prediction on things that will happen within the next 5 years when we have our 2028 presidential election. We will be living in a different America by then, I'm sure. These are just my predictions based on the knowledge that I've picked up over the last handful of years doing these videos. If you see things differently, I would love to hear about it in the comment section below. What predictions do you have? Which ones do you think I got wrong? These aren't facts, this is just a conversation. Alright, here are the things I think will happen by the 2028 election. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look.
Number 10.
Number 10, the political landscape.
Well, that's just a bit of a cop-out, because obviously it's going to change. It's going to be 5 years in the future. This always changes.
Landscape in the United States will become more polarized. The current political climate in the United States is already quite divided, and this trend will likely continue.
To be honest, is it even possible for it to get more divided? I don't think there's been more of a division. I can't speak for someone who knows how it would have been 30, 40, 50 years ago, but it seems pretty divided, and it doesn't seem like it could be much more divided than it already is, but I guess the potential's there. That's a scary thought, though.
In the coming years. It's already incredibly toxic in Washington, D.C., and even at the state level. Probably really hard to believe it'll get much worse. But it will. As the two major political parties become more and more entrenched in their respective ideologies, it will become increasingly difficult to find any common ground. Getting anything done between these two parties right now has become about as difficult as giving a porcupine a back rub. This, of course, will lead to more gridlock in the government and make it more difficult to address important issues. In my opinion, I think we'll see a third party come into power, maybe not by 2028, but I would bet within the next decade. I don't think it'll be a new party out of nowhere. I honestly think the major parties, at least one of them, will split. Both parties now have these extremists, and they used to be like fringed characters in politics that nobody really paid attention to. Now, because of social media, they're in the forefront.
Possible.
Number 9, manufacturing will make a comeback. This one is already in play. Different companies have been pulling manufacturing out of China at a faster pace every single year.
This is probably a good one, though. I mean, that might be a really stupid question, but that is good. I mean, but at the same time, will it all be machinery at this point? I mean, if it's increasing jobs and all those kinds of things, it's only a positive.
Different corporations in the United States are seeing cheap labor isn't all it's cracked up to be. When I was at Nike, they were pulling manufacturing for their newer shoes back to the US because of people, stealing design, copyright issues, and, all of a sudden everyone's got their tech. And believe it or not, there's a lot of tech that goes into shoe making. That's just one example. I've heard Adidas has done the same thing, along with different computer manufacturers. Now, there's a few other reasons this is happening. Obviously, China being the biggest in the world of manufacturing. I mean, they got cheap labor and plenty of people. But in recent years, China's been kind of taking a hit on the world stage with all their problems they're having with Taiwan, that right now has the potential to turn into an armed conflict, and that'll force the US to put sanctions on China and maybe
more sanctions, oh no.
Even stop or limit what companies can do business-wise in China. And there's one other thing. During the pandemic, we realized some of the products we need were only made in China. Medical supplies were a big one. The masks that they really wanted everyone to have, we didn't have enough, and we had to get them from China. Well, everyone now was ordering from China, and we were kind of at their mercy because we didn't have the systems in place to start producing some of the medical supplies that were desperately needed. It took months for U.S. companies to start producing what was needed. Number 8, the U.S. will become more diverse. The United States is already a very diverse country, and this diversity is only expected to increase in the coming years. As more immigrants come to the United States, the country's population will become more ethnically and racially diverse. This could lead to challenges such as language barriers, cultural clashes, but it could also lead to new opportunities and a more vibrant society.
There we go. Although I think pretty much every country is becoming more diverse anyway. So again, it's another prediction that's just pretty much guaranteed because that's happening all around the world. It's just how it is.
Number 7, the environment will continue to deteriorate. Climate change is already having significant impact on the environment, and this impact is only expected to get worse in the coming years. There's still a lot of people out there that don't believe this is happening at all, but statistically, and the math is there, it is happening. The only thing that's up for discussion is how much of an impact humans are having on the natural climate change. And I get that we've had climate change since before the dinosaurs. But this time around, we have giant cities on the coastline. And as the water rises, these cities will be affected in a big way. Is this going to happen next year or next 5 years? No. Will Miami be underwater by 2028? Absolutely not. If that does happen, in worst case scenario, it'll be like 80 years from now. Whenever you bring that up, someone's got to bring up the fact that Obama bought a coastal piece of property. Like, that's their defense. If the water's rising, why'd Obama buy beachfront property? Because it'll be 80 to 100 years before his property is underwater at a worst case scenario. He won't be here then. None of us will be. Number 6, technology will continue to advance rapidly.
Is that really to do with anything? Is this anything to do with the election? Or is it just things that are going to happen before this time? Because I was thinking it will all be linked. But it's just saying things that are going to change, which, I mean, yeah, they are guaranteed to change because obviously technology advances all the time anyway. Rapidly as well.
Technology is advancing at an unprecedented pace, and this trend is not expected to change anytime soon. New technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, gene editing are already
Gene editing? What's that?
having a major impact on our lives, and this impact is only expected to grow in the coming years. Think of the major technological advances we've made in most of our lifetime. People are getting picked up for murders that they committed 40 years ago because of DNA evidence.
True.
Family member decides to figure out what part of Europe they came from. One thing leads to another, and the police are at the door of your condo in Boca talking to you about a waitress you knew when you were 22. These technologies could have both positive and negative impacts, and it is important to be aware of both the potential benefits and the risks. Obviously, AI and automation are a big risk, but they're also incredibly useful. That sort of leads us into the next one. Number 5, the job market will continue to change. The nature of work is changing rapidly, and this trend is not expected to change anytime soon.
More online work, I guess. The internet, there's going to be more jobs available, all this kind of stuff. I guess that's kind of a thing that is going to be on the job market.
The automation of many jobs is already underway, and this could lead to widespread job losses in the coming years. But at the same time, new jobs are being created in the technology sector and other industries, normally to work on automation and AI. This also has a great potential to lead to a more uneven distribution of wealth, as those with the skills to succeed in the new economy will do so, while others who are left behind could struggle. I'm kind of the exception to the rule because I'm very involved in tech, but I'm in my 50s. If this all went away tomorrow and I had to re-enter the workforce and all they got are jobs working with robotics and AI, I'm screwed. But I honestly think the job market in the United States by 2028 will be extremely different than it is today. I honestly think car salesmen will be a thing of the past by then, if not soon after.
Damn.
Just one example. I mean, last car I got, I went in and told them exactly what I want. Actually, I got online, told them what I wanted. They had it there. I went in, signed some paper, problem solved.
Damn.
Number 4, a shift in global affairs. The United States has been a major player in global affairs for many years, and this role is likely to continue in the coming years, but differently. Most of our involvement in global affairs, at least what we see, has been in military intervention. In my life, there was the end of the Vietnam War. We invaded Grenada, invaded Panama, Somalia, Iraq, Afghanistan, and I'm sure a whole bunch of smaller conflicts none of us know about. And that's where I see the change happening. We're no longer going to be putting boots on the ground, so to speak, in every little conflict around the globe. I'm sure we will continue to defend our allies and support them, but I think where the change is, we will closely work with
God damn, that's a loud plane. Being picked up by the microphone as well.
other countries to address common challenges. Things like drought, food shortages, internet infrastructure, normal infrastructure. I also see us pulling away from the Middle East in a big way. I mean, I don't think our foreign oil dependency is going to end before 2028, but I think that's on the horizon, and I think we're going to be less involved in the Middle East because of that.
Okay.
Number 3, more of a consumer society. The United
Is that even possible? Can we become more consumer than we already am?
States is already
Than we already are? I say we, because I feel like the societies will probably be similar in terms of what they change to, in terms of the UK and the US.
a consumer society, but this trend will likely continue in the coming years. The rise of online shopping will doom us all. It's just too easy, and half of us lack the control not to buy way more than we need.
It's true. Or like just ordering online, like food, delivering stuff. I never used to do it. I just get myself in like rabbit holes of just ordering, and it's just costly. It's not healthy, and it's just like, why? And I'll go through phases of not doing it, but then I'll just always find myself getting back into it. I don't really buy stuff like clothes or just items. It's just food for me. I'm flipping ordering food all the time. It's so annoying.
I'm one of them. I own a pink Darth Vader Funko statue I bought at 2 a.m. and rushed the delivery for some frickin' reason. I'm not an outlier. Half the United States is just like that. I mean, I don't know if everyone's into pink Darth Vaders, but other things they're shopping for.
What the fuck?
Number 2, we'll become more of a service economy. The United States traditionally has been a manufacturing economy. Sure, China got a lot of our manufacturing, but we still had a ton. Like I said earlier, some manufacturing's coming back, but it's never going to be at the levels that we had it back in the 1950s and 40s. And the manufacturing jobs that do come back, a lot of them will be automated. And this will put more and more people into service and creative industries, mostly service. Mechanics, electricians, plumbers, healthcare, automation, repair guys. Machines will replace a lot of us, but someone's got to keep those machines going. We haven't got to the point yet where they're fixing themselves, past a computer, defragging the hard drive and getting rid of viruses. I'm sure someone's going to have some other examples and try and prove me wrong, but on a grand scale, machines aren't fixing themselves yet. In my opinion, I think the future for most of our kids or our grandkids will be in industries like plumbing, electrical, healthcare. Those industries will need bodies, and in most cases, they're really not a bad.
I mean, no, at all. They are the most important things, to be fair. I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where those jobs will not be not needed, unless it just gets to the point where it's all like just robots and stuff. But how would they be able to do these weird things? I don't know. Would they be able to do plumbing because of the chance of getting wet and just these different jobs, right? But the worry, I guess, would be, are people going to want to do those jobs? Because they're not the most enjoyable jobs in terms of, you're going to be getting, like, doing the dirty work kind of thing. But, yeah, they're good paying. I hope them things are still going to be, like, I say those things. I hope people are still going to want to do those things because they're going to always be important. I guess because the pay aspects, as long as they are going to continue to be good, like, continually, like, well-paid jobs, then yeah, there will be jobs that people will want to do. But
at living at all. One thing a lot of people believe will go away is truck driving. I don't think that's really a thing. I don't think delivery service is going to be automated.
How would that be possible? Oh, I guess robotically driven trucks. I mean, there was that, I saw videos, was it like Amazon robotically driven Amazon trucks and stuff? Was that a thing that I saw? I guess it's a possibility, but there's still the risk of things going wrong.
Anytime soon, especially when it comes to truck driving. That's a couple generations away. And that's because companies don't want to get too involved in something like that, where if it, like, I don't know, a truck kills someone, you'll have serious backlash from the government and the people. And no one's going to invest billions in robot diesel trucks that could be grounded every time there's an accident. You know, people will get upset about it, the government get upset about it, but then they'll sort of ignore that accidents happen all the time. And I'm sure if you looked at the NTSB's data, semi-trucks are killing a couple people every single day, at a minimum. Thousands and thousands of people get killed every year on our roads, but human error is a little easier to accept than a robot killing an Oompa band on the way to an Oktoberfest in Wisconsin.
One thing, I know this is irrelevant, right? But I just want to see, because I always hear this fact: when will oil run out? I don't think this is really related, but when will oil run out? Because with this, right? So in about 47 years, I swear it's been 47 years for about the last 10 years, maybe not, but say when it runs out, how are people going to fly? Like jet fuel, is it the same? Like, is it all oil, or is it just certain oil? When will jet oil run out? No, like, I don't mean run out if you're on the plane. I mean, I guess it is just the same, right? That's what, like, will you be able to fly? Will you be able to, like, even travel? I guess because of the creation of electric cars, but I was looking into, like, the possibility of electric planes. It wouldn't be there because, I mean, first, I don't even know if they could lift off the ground. With the current technology, probably not. But then, in terms of, like, if you go through, like, lightning storms, it will just turn the power off of the plane and stuff if it gets hit, and just all these things. But I don't really think it's relevant. But I'm just wondering, how are you going to do those basic things that we can do now, like flying and just driving and stuff? It's weird, but is it a thing that some people don't think the oil's running out? Because I feel like I'm probably pissing people off by even suggesting it. Because I know it is a thing that, like, the Earth does make oil. Like, it is but it's very slow to the amount that we use. Isn't it the Earth does, like, remake it just naturally, but it's just a lot slower than, like, I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't. But it just makes the oil a lot slower than we use it, kind of thing.
All right.
I don't know how I got to that thing. I was just trying to think because it's kind of related to that in a sense. Number one.
And number one, less college, more trade school. I think college is great. Let's get that out of the way. I think it's a great path to be on into your adulthood.
What is trade school? Because in the UK, trade school is like where you learn a craft. So you could learn to be a PT, or you could learn to be an electrician, or you could learn to be, like, a hairdresser. You could learn to be just all these different terms of job, like trades. I guess they are trades. Are trades only jobs like electricians, plumbers, and stuff like that? I just got to make sure. What are trade jobs? Oh, this is going to sound so dumb, but... Oh, okay, so it is that. So... That's the thing in the UK, though. Like, when I say... Because college in the US is university, but college in the UK is trade. You're doing trade. You're learning trade jobs. So it's like the jobs I just mentioned, but all different types of ones as well. Is that not really a thing as much in the US? Trade school. Because in the UK, you'll go to college, you'll either do your A-levels, which then lead you on to university, or you'll do the trade things, like learning how to do to be an electrician and stuff like that. And then you'll just go straight into that job after. So that's just the thing. But they're sort of connected in a way. But you always go after high school. You'll go to college first, do your A levels, which then lead you on to university, or do your trade levels, or just basically just learning how to be an engineer or whatever, and then you'll go straight into that job when you finish that course.
Or trade school. I think college is great. Let's get that out of the way. I think it's a great path.
And it's free in the UK until you're 18. You can do it for free. Learn your trade for free. Is trade school free in the US or not? Because I think it's the same as university in the US, which is kind of confusing me. So you go from school to then either college, which is university, or trade school.
Be on into your adulthood. I think everyone should go, but not everyone can. Now, theoretically, yes, they can. I know someone's going to say that anyone can go to college. Yeah, theoretically, everyone can. But here in the real world, people can't afford it. Some people don't have the drive to attend a four-year college. And many Americans didn't have the home life that would have given them the life skills to get on that path. On top of all that, you have just the extreme costs, student loans, worthless degrees, and of course the political fighting about what's being taught in the college and university systems. I think people will be opting for trade schools more and more in the coming years. Like I've said before, nothing wrong with being an electrician, a plumber, carpenter, mechanic, whatever. I'll just give you one example. If you're a journeyman electrician, here in the Oregon area, your salary can be somewhere between $55,000 and $110,000, according to Glassdoor. In states like Mississippi, that's $45,000 to about $85,000. In Mississippi, that is not bad money. If you start your own electrician business, you could make even more. I can't tell you how many people I worked with at Netflix that had 4-year degrees.
Wait, this guy's worked everywhere. He's worked at Netflix. He's worked at Nike. What did he used to do?
And they were working at Netflix. I can't think of one I ever worked with that went to a trade school was working at Netflix or any call center. Don't get me wrong. If you do college, that's great. I just think too many people go to college. They just do it because that's what they were told. That's what you do. You go to college. Then they get out and they do nothing with the degree and they're in debt. I think for many years we were force-fed just the rose-colored glasses version of what goes on in college and what happens afterwards. I think all those are going to lead more people to trade schools, and I honestly believe universities will see a drop in attendance. Now, this one I think has the biggest potential for me to be 100% wrong, but I also think it has the potential to be one of the most impactful. That's why it's number one.
Well, there we go. I mean, yeah, I never knew it was called trade school in the US. I don't know how the education system works, but the fact that trade is, when you finish school, you either have the option of trade school or college, or you should go straight into work, I guess, or whatever. It's just different to the UK. Like, you'll first, after high school in the UK, you'll either do your A levels, which is just more school pretty much, or go into trade school in the UK. But they're kind of in the same place, because the college that I went to for trade stuff, the same college you could do your A levels and you could just learn and all that sort of stuff. But then the trade school would have loads of different options, or the college would have loads of different options for what trade you'd want to study and learn about how to do and stuff like that. But yeah, that's probably a thing that will happen, because more stuff like that will be needed, and like you said, it's free, or it's cheaper than college or university in the US. But yeah, there we go. Hopefully you found this interesting and this didn't piss you off too much. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe.